Hi everyone, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. I am sick. Oh, I have vertigo. Whenever I stand, move around, and when I just coughed there, I felt so dizzy. And I just don't feel that well. And it's ever since I came back from the vets the other day. I was absolutely fine after the getaway with my friends. And then as soon as I took my cats to the vets, the day after when I picked them up, I started feeling really sick. I was going to try and start this vlog yesterday, but it was a write-off yesterday. All I did was just watch like 14 episodes of One Piece. And despite being unwell, I still look quite pretty.
I look quite pretty.
But today we are going into the 4th episode of I Have to Like My Friends' Favourite Books or I Unsubscribe from Their Channel series that I do on my channel. Essentially, I pick 4 friends at random for my BookTube besties, and I pick a book from either one of their best books of all time or one of their best books from a year list, and I read it and give them a rating out of 10. And if they get a 6 or above, then they're safe. But if they get less than a 6 out of 10, then they are in danger of being unsubscribed to. You know what, for me being sick, I feel like that was the most concise I've ever described this series. So if you watched my November TBR, you will have already seen who my lucky victims are in this episode. I have the beautiful Nakia from Nakia's Hideaway joining me on this episode. Everybody please give a hand to Liv from Liv's Library. We also have the incredible Gabbyreads on this episode today. And also my love Steph from Steph Loves. I have picked 4 books that will represent one of each of my beautiful friends. And for Nakia, I have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now I was supposed to pick this up from the library a few days ago because it was due to be back on the 2nd of November, but I haven't been well, so I haven't went. And then I looked on the website and now it's not available until the 21st of November. So I was a little bit screwed there. However, I did decide to get the audiobook because a lot of people said the audiobook is fantastic. So I'm going to read Project Hail Mary via audio. Also, does my voice sound different? Have I went from How to Train Your Gavin to How to Train Your Gaddy? For Liv, I am reading Finlay, Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. And I will tell you what each of these books are about in each section of the video. So I will have timestamps down below. For Gabby, I'm reading The Born by Christina Henry. This one is making me feel like Halloween isn't over yet, you know? Like it's still spooky time. I'm sure I was in Gabby's top favourite horrors of all time video. Imagine if I was wrong. And then for Steph, I am reading The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. And I know this is definitely one of Steph's favourite books. I'm pretty sure Steph's read this multiple times now. So I just need to read it the once to see if Steph will stay in my subscription feed. I do have my coffee. I feel like this will help make me feel better today. But coffee. And let's get straight into reading. I do want to do some B-roll. I do want to go places. I did want to go out exploring and go to a cafe and things like that. But I'm not going to do that until I feel 100% better. So pray for me. Pray for a speedy recovery. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of funny when I try and walk. I still look quite pretty. It's a new day. It's a new day of getting closer and closer to being healed. 100%. I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there. I'm not feeling as dizzy anymore when I'm standing up or moving around. So I took a shower this morning. Oh my god, I thought I spilled my coffee, but it wasn't. It was just a reflection. Obviously, I'm still delirious. But yeah, I'm just so glad that I had a wash. I shaved my neck. I like it when I shave my neck. I feel new. I feel born again. So I'm already happier today than I was yesterday. And I listened to quite a lot of my audiobook for Project Hail Mary yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned that that's the one I'm starting with, but I did get the audiobook for it, so that is what I decided to listen to because I couldn't just sit there and read a physical book, no sir. I did tune into a few people's reading sprints, such as like Beth's and Liv's on Patreon. It was so good. It was like having company. And I probably could have finished Project Hail Mary yesterday just on audiobook alone had I not kept stopping for the breaks during these live shows. But that's because I wanted the conversation between hand. I didn't just want to like plow straight through to the end. I wanted to at least read half yesterday and then finish it today, hopefully. I've finished chapter 10 and I'm really liking Project Hail Mary so far. It is so good. We follow this science teacher. He was a I believe like a middle school science teacher, and he wakes up from a coma. He doesn't really know what his name is or very much about why he's in space, but he slowly starts to realise that there is this potential extinction event that's going to happen on Earth that's regarding the sun, and he is in space now to find out what the fuck's going on. Instantly, the premise of it alone is very exciting. I am so excited by it. And something happens at the end of chapter 3 that floored me. I don't know if it mentions this in the synopsis of the book because I don't have the actual physical book to read the synopsis. But if it does, it would have been a bit of a spoiler, so I'll not mention it now. But I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, really? There were some like moments that were a little bit twisty in the first 10 chapters that I feel like I might have read a story similar-ish to this at some point. And I have read The Martian, which I think is by the same author. So I'm seeing like some similarities to that. But it stands on its own 2 feet because I'm just so engrossed in what our character's doing, how he's going to go about things. More things happen towards the end of what I read that introduces other things. And if you know, you know. And I'm just like, what's going to happen there? You know, what's going to happen there? I did want this segment to be a little bit more exciting. I do have to return a library book tomorrow, though. It's the last day I have to return it before I get like a late fee or something. I don't know if there are fees. I've never returned a book to the library late recently. But I did get an email saying it's due back tomorrow, so bring it back, bitch. And I feel like I need to do that, but it means I'll have to leave the house to do that. And I'm not sure I'm ready yet. I'm not sure I'm quite ready. But I also don't want to incur the wrath of my local librarians. They scare me. I mean, I admire them, but they scare me at the same time. Anyway, actually, hang on. Back to Project Hail Mary, because my mind's all over the place. These vlogs are always all over the place. As I'm reading this, I'm realising why I don't read sci-fi more. And that's because they always seem to give me a bit of an existential crisis. I know that the universe is this massive place, and I feel like a speck of sand on a beach when comparing myself to the entire universe. And then I just go into these kind of spirals where I'm like, do I actually matter? Does what I do today actually mean anything? In 200 years, everyone alive right now is going to be dead, and the universe might be in a totally different state. The universe might not even exist anymore due to global warming and the climate. And I don't mean to set anybody else off who's listening to this. I do apologise. And I know this is all just like in my head right now, but this always happens to me. I've probably mentioned this a few times before. I probably haven't mentioned it in a while. But sometimes I'll be awake until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning watching YouTube videos about the universe and going into like these really weird questions or random questions about things that I just feel like I'll never have the answers for. And it's just such a mind fuck, honestly. So that's why I don't read sci-fi more, because it does really throw me through a loop. Let's just say it throws me through a loop. Fortunately though, Project Hail Mary does have an exciting story. It's entertaining through and through. And it's effective, because it makes me feel like a small piece of shit. I'm kidding. But no, it's like really effective and it's very well written and the character dialogue is so good. And while I'm not really feeling a personal attachment to the main character just yet, I do get a sense of his lostness. I'm not making sense. I'm not making good words right now, but I'm getting a sense of his mental state, I guess, in this very weird situation that he's in. But yeah, so far so good. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook today. I have a movie night with my patrons tonight. We're watching a Christmas film. I need a good Christmas film to make me feel better, I think. So we're going to be watching that later. Hopefully I get the audiobook finished by then. I did want to film a video today, pumpkin spice latte unhaul, but I don't think that's going to happen until I'm better. So already my November's fucked. I'm not going to lie, my November's fucked. But it's fine, I'll live. Oh, and I think I might put my Christmas decorations up today. I mean, I can't put all of them up because I have my cats and I worry about the Christmas tree. So I don't think I can put the Christmas tree up. It has fake snow on it and I'm really worried because actually anything that Ash or even Tobu might get a bit curious and try and eat the fake snow. So yeah, I just don't want to risk their health in all honesty. So I'll put like little decorations up here, there and everywhere. Might make the cats more excited because I feel like they're probably a bit bored right now because I can't really do much. I can't really play with them that much because I tire myself out so quickly. Oh, my poor babies. Anyway, you guys are probably tired and bored with me right now as well, so let's just crack on and let's see if I do actually put some decorations up today and finish Project Hail Mary. You know, it's true that flu's hit men harder. Sorry, I couldn't finish that joke. It's too funny. My dizziness is gone, so that's good. I still have quite a bunged up nose and I'm just not 100%. Would I allow someone to stick their tongue down my throat right now? No. No. And that's how I know I'm still quite ill. Also, this mug does have something written on, it's just on the other side. And it's a Halloween mug still. I will get the festive mugs out very, very soon, don't you worry. But I just had to make myself a latte this morning. So I finished Project Hail Mary. I'm still in my pyjamas. Will I actually put clothes on in this vlog? Stick around to find out. Will I actually leave the house in this vlog? Stick around to find out. I feel like I've left the house too many freaking times though. You know what? It's nice to have just a little bit more chill. A little bit more chill right now. Although not too chill because I've got a cold. So yeah, I finished Project Hail Mary. It was so good. Like, it actually genuinely was so good. It was so effective in the fact that, yes, it did make me have a bit of an existential crisis. Making me think of bigger things in the universe and stuff like that. And the story was just, like, very good. I will say there was a long section of the book where I was starting to drop off a bit and I was starting to lose interest because I think there was like so much focus on one thing, and I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I feel like if you've read the book you know what I mean, but there's like a specific focus on one thing, and that's the focus for a good chunk of this book. And while that's not a bad thing because it adds believability, it adds substance to the plot because like nothing can really be easy, of course, like it has to be believable to an extent, even though it is science fiction. And you know what, some parts I feel like this could actually happen. But yeah, there was just like a long stretch of the book where I was like a little bit, I could probably go on to a different book right now, but it still kept my intrigue. And I just really enjoyed the plot. The plot was so good. And there was a specific friendship in it as well that I really liked. You know the one I mean. It was, yeah, I really liked that friendship. It was so good. And yeah, because I do co-pile to come up with the ratings for each book, I'm going to go through each section more specifically. So in terms of characters, well, yes, I did love a specific friendship, but I feel like because we don't really get a whole lot of personability with some of these characters, a lot of it is very, what's the word, clinical. Like a lot of it is very technical, that a lot is explained and it's explained through characters, which makes them believable. It does, like it makes me believe that they actually are experts in their field and stuff like that. But like, I didn't really find too much of a personal connection per se with the characters. I would probably give like a 7 out of 10 for the characters. And remember as well, my overall co-pal rating has to be above a 6 in order to stay subscribed to. So we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start, Nakia. Cheers. Atmosphere, I would say, I would probably give that a 9. I would give Atmosphere a 9. The isolation, the scariness of it, if I was in that situation, I would be absolutely bloody terrified. And I just don't know if I could handle it myself. But I think the author did a good job at having space feel real. So I will give it a 9 for that. Writing, I'd probably have to give a 9 as well. Yes, there was that part, probably like around about the middle to like the third quarter of the book, yeah, where I did feel like it was going a bit boring or like a bit dry and stuff, but the writing never really let up. I would have loved a bit more personability, but you know, you can't have everything, can you? Plot, oh, plot was so good. Like, I love the idea of it. I love the fact that something so sinister and scary could happen, because it probably will happen to the planet. And again, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole where I'm going to get that existential crisis again. I only just shook it off. I would give plot a 9 as well, actually. I think I would still give plot a 9 because it's just so exciting. Intrigue, 9. I think intrigue's a 9 too, because apart from that, but I would call it the slog. There is a moment or a part of the book where it's a slog. I would call it the slog. Apart from the slog, my intrigue was still quite high throughout. I was wondering how it would end. I was wondering how we were going to resolve things. I'm not going to say whether things are resolved or not, but yeah. Logic. I feel like the author did such a good job at presenting this world as fact and real. I don't think I could give it a perfect 10. Could I give it I don't think so. I don't know if I have it in me to give Logic a 10. But I would probably say, again, that's like a really high 9 as well. I would say that's a high 9. And Enjoyment, I would give it a 9 out of 10 as well. It was so brilliant. 8.71. We have Nakia with Project Hail Mary at an 8.71 out of 10. It was so good. And I feel like it was probably a little bit more memorable than The Martian, because I'm already starting to figure out what The Martian was about. Although I do remember certain scenes, actually. I remember laughing at one point as well. So I feel like The Martian maybe had a bit more humour than this one. But I would say overall I probably prefer Project Hail Mary. Ooh, That puts Nakia joint second with Kayla. I would probably put Project Hail Mary above Bunny. Quite honestly, like, I did really enjoy Bunny, don't get me wrong. But I think I had more excitement and more enjoyment out of Project Hail Mary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-rate enjoyment and give it, and you're going to hate, actually, I'll re-rate characters. I'll give characters a 7.5. And then that will push Project Hail Mary to an 8.79 instead of an 8.71. And then at least there's a bit of a differentiation between Project Hail Mary and Bunny. So Nakia's just stormed in second place in this whole leaderboard. This Project Hail Mary thing, yeah, I should have read it earlier, quite honestly. I've heard great things about it. I know it's a few of my friends' favourite books as well. So it was so good. It was so good. So well done, Nakia. I'm so glad I get to stay subscribed to you because I freaking love your channel, honestly. So what should I possibly read next? What do I fancy after a sci-fi? The great thing about this, or the books I'm reading in this vlog, are the books are just so different. I do quite fancy a horror. Or like something scary. I don't know if it's like full on horror. The term horror is very, well, you could apply it to a lot of things. Near the Bone by Christina Henry, I think I would read next. So this one is representing Gabby from Gabbyreads. And I'm down. I am down. And I feel like it's a lot shorter than Project Hail Mary. So it'll be nice to have something that I can just breeze through. Maybe in one sit. I doubt one sit, no. The amount of times I'll be going up for the toilet. But yeah, I think out of all of them, it has the bigger text. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'll continue my coffee. I'm currently planning some stuff with Lexi for our patrons. So that's going to be so much fun. I think we're doing a FaceTime tomorrow as well. I cannot wait. My cats are currently lying on the bed, so I might join them. And just, I don't know, live, I guess. I've got the Christmas ambience going on in the living room as well. I should probably put the gas on as well so I can actually put the heating on too. That's probably not helping my cold. Yeah, that's what I'll do first, actually. Gabby, are you a witch? I literally just sat down to start filming this little update for Near the Bone, and Gabby just messaged about Near the Bone. So, I'm going to send her this message. Gabby, you must be a witch, because I just sat down to do my vlog update on the Bone. I've been watching One Piece. I've been watching a lot of One Piece recently. And fortunately as well, I feel like my cold is pretty much gone-ish. Like, I still feel the after effects of it, but like, yeah, my nose isn't that runny anymore. I'm not really coughing that much anymore. I'm not getting dizzy when I'm walking around and stuff anymore. I think I've seen the worst part of it over. See, I was refusing to put the heating on because, cost of living crisis and all that. But I just thought, you know what, today I'm just going to put the heating on. And I feel so much better already. But yeah, Near the Bone, I'm on chapter 12, which means I am on page 222. So I don't actually have that much left, really. I've got like about that much left, and I'm really enjoying it so far. God damn it, why do my friends have to have like good taste? I say this in every video. I want drama, but it can never happen because my friends actually do have good taste. If you don't want to know like anything at all about Near the Bone, then please skip ahead. I'm not going to spoil like a major plot point or anything like that. I just want to mention a trigger warning about something, and I think when I say the trigger warning, because I don't think it mentions this at all in the summary. I mean, there's this kind of hint towards it at the end of the summary. Just skip ahead until I put the book down if you don't want to know absolutely anything about like the trigger warning for it. But I would say trigger warning for domestic abuse. Like, it is very heavy at the very start of this, because we follow Maddie and she lives with her husband on the top of this mountain. It's very snowy, and at the very start of the book she comes across a dead fox, and it looks like it's been mauled, but it hasn't been eaten. So it's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Because this is like very sinister and strange. She goes to her husband about it, and he wants to investigate and stuff, but like, he abuses her. He literally abuses her, and it's so heavy at the start of this. And honestly, I was not expecting that, because I can't remember reading the summary at all before starting this. It took me by surprise. It made me feel awful. I mean, things have happened since that have brought things to light, which again, I'm not going to spoil like anything major. I just wanted to mention the trigger warning. There are things that happen a little bit later on that I'm just like, that's a bit of a shocking development in that sort of area of this book. And it's just meant that my intrigue has just gone way up. Absolutely way up. The vibes of this are immaculate. I love the like isolated, haunting setting, the frostiness of it, the darkness of it, the mystery of what is in the woods. I still don't bloody know. And there's a scene where we find out a little bit more, and it happens quite early on as well, and it just shows you the gravity of the situation, the scope of the situation. And I'm just like, what the hell would I do in that situation as well? It's the same with Project Hail Mary. I'm trying to kind of put myself in the shoes of the main characters in being like, how would I get out of this situation? I don't think I could. I feel like I've started off with two like similar books in terms of main characters being in dangerous situations, and I'm scared. Like, I'm actually scared about what's going on, what's happening. It's just very creepy and so good. It's so good. I'm tired. I am tired. I've been reading this. Well, I read this for quite a lot today, and then I thought, I mean, I could have finished it by now, but I just really wanted to stop. Like, I very easily could have finished this in one go pretty much, but I forced myself to stop. I was like, no, don't do that. Take it all in. And I had a bit of a break. I watched my One Piece and I was loving it. I've nearly finished the second season of that, by the way. I only started it a few days ago. This is what happens when I'm sick. I do things that aren't that productive and my videos fall on the wayside and my reading. Although saying that, I feel like I've done pretty well, you know? It's only Monday, so yeah, I could probably try and finish this in bed when I go to bed, but I am just tired. I just want to sit and watch YouTube, to be honest. It seems like every time I do one of these, I have to like my friends' favourite books or I unsubscribe from their channel episodes. Something kind of big happens in my life. In the first episode, I confronted an online bully who had been after me for 2 years, and I haven't heard from them since. And that was probably like the big thing from episode 1. Episode 2, I got Ash and Tobu, my beautiful children, my loves of my lives, and they're currently playing or fighting outside. So if you hear a lot of noises in the background, it's always them. In the third episode, I mentioned that I was getting a housemate. My best friend of 20 years was moving in. And in this episode, so sharing a house with someone is not ideal for what I do. And I've learned the past couple of months that it's not something I am fine with, essentially. So I'm going to be trying to move out. It might not happen anytime soon, but I did tell my housemate that that's what I want to do. And yeah, I had to overcome so much anxiety and so much stress in order to be honest about it. So yeah, that is what is going to happen. And again, it's happened during one of these episodes where something kind of big happens to me. So I thought I would let you know that. I did go for reviewing yesterday, I think I mentioned. I will say that I just feel so trapped in this room. I feel like I'm filming in here all the time. I'm working in here all the time. I made this room my bedroom as well, so I'm sleeping in here. It's not been good for me, essentially, at the end of the day. So yeah, this is the situation. And yeah, it's just not ideal. What is ideal though is that I got myself a chocolate fudge brownie kind of frappuccino thing from Costa. So this is a win because it's so tasty. This is, I think, 2 weeks since I last updated you guys and I had started Near the Bone, because I ended up doing a lot of other videos in the meantime. I had to reshuffle things because of my illness. I had to make sure that things for sponsors were done on this date and that date. And it was a mess, honestly. This month has been such a mess and so stressful. I don't know if I mentioned it in this vlog or a different vlog, but I want this month to be over already. In fact, I want this year to be over already. And I don't like saying that, but that's the kind of situation I'm in right now, where I'm just kind of wishing the rest of the year away so that next year I can start anew and hopefully reclaim some of that magic that I felt prior to my current living situation. Anyway, Near the Bone, I did finish this well over a week ago, and I did really enjoy it. I like the ambiguity of it as well. I don't think everything was quite wrapped up or explained too much. There were some times when I thought the writer conveniently did something or told us something that kind of solved some of the problems that Christina Henry had wrote herself in, if you know what I mean. And I can totally see through that kind of writing style. And it felt like the first half of the book was more like slow building tension, like, oh, what's this monster kind of thing. And then the second book was more like thriller. Like, it felt more thriller the second half. And it was a really interesting dichotomy between the two. So I kind of liked that. Sometimes I don't like it when books feel so different, where the first half is just completely different story, and I always feel a bit torn over it. But I feel like it kind of worked for this one, because again, like, you have to have some kind of ambiguity in order to kind of keep that suspense up. And I did like that. I like the kind of open-endedness of it in a way. The characters were very interesting. I did not expect a lot of the stuff because I read a totally different synopsis. I feel like the synopsis is quite misleading. But I feel like if you read further into the synopsis, you can kind of pick apart or get a sense of the direction of the story. So I wasn't that smart of a reader, okay, to really dissect that summary and see it for what it really is. So I will say I'm going to give this one a try. Just maybe avoid the summary and just go in totally new, totally fresh, and not with expectation of what actually happens. And then you should be fine. You should be absolutely fine. But honestly, my intrigue for this ran so high throughout. I can't remember what I said about this before in my previous update because it's been weeks, but I really liked how the story unfolded, how exciting it would get, and it just kept me reading. It was very, very good. My co-pile rating then for the characters, I'll probably give a 7. But the atmosphere was great, absolutely great. I'll give it a 9. For the writing, I did mention about the whole telling instead of showing, and a lot of convenient things happening to get characters out of certain situations. I'll give writing a 7.5. Give writing a 7.5, which I feel is good enough. Plot, I would give an 8. I felt like it had a really good plot. A misleading plot to begin with, but once it unfolded, it was leading into the next category, intriguing. Intrigue will be a very high 9. I wanted to find out what in the world was going on, and getting to the end of it, I just liked the ride of it, and I liked how my intrigue was scratched the entire way through. Logic, I will give a 7. Yeah, logic I'll give a 7 because again, there was just quite a few conveniences that just kind of undercut a lot of the moments. And then enjoyment, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. A good solid 8 out of 10, which gives this book a 7.93. Where does that place Gabby on the leaderboard? Perfect, that's joint 5th with Aaron from Booked and Busy. I would probably put the Bone above Malice. And I don't know if that's just because this is more fresh in my mind. Yeah, I might change one of these ratings so that it gets an 8. I'll give Atmosphere a 9.5. I don't want to give it a 10. So yeah, Gabby now has an 8. And it puts her just above Aaron. Because again, I don't really like having 2 of the same rating. If I prefer one over the other, then really it should have that little bit of a higher rating. So well done, Gabby. You're currently in 5th. 5th out of 14. And you're totally safe from being unsubscribed to by a whole 2 points. So that's pretty awesome. You are just behind Nakia in this episode though. Nakia is claiming that crown for this episode. Let's see if my next 2 besties who I read for have higher ratings than Nakia. Let's see how this leaderboard in this episode alone progresses. I do also want to show you guys the kind of like progress of my library, because I feel like in these vlogs, I barely show you very much about my life outside of the books that I'm reading. So I want to do like a little bit more. And honestly, the only thing I have outside of my life where I'm reading is book collecting, quite honestly, right now. And I kind of just want to show you like things that I'm doing to improve my library. And you know, it's very dark in this kind of middle grade aisle that I've called it, because it is literally like a runway. It is a runway down here where all my middle grades are on that side. And there are some middle grades on this side. I might have to stop calling it a middle grade aisle, because down here, I mean, I do have... I'm going to have to turn the light on, I think. Oh, the fairy lights. There we go. I do have middle grade... This is kind of like middle grade / YA. Like Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan, I don't know where you would put it. There are more like YA here as well. There's the Disney Twisted Tales. And then I have... my like graphic novels have spilled over here as well, and then Throne of Glass, which is a really random place to put Throne of Glass. Can you even see? Oh, that's my knee. This is a random place to have Throne of Glass, but there's just like nowhere else to put it really. I might try and fit it in with my actual YA and adult books, but I like having these cube things in the middle because it means I can put like series on here. But because I got all of those One Piece volumes, all the One Piece editions, it's meant that the graphic novels have kind of like spiraled its way around. So I do have all of One Piece all the way up to there, like 100 volumes right there, leading into my other graphic novels and then spilling over onto the other side. So I shouldn't call this the middle grade aisle, because I do have some YA and stuff here, and then I do also have my yaoi. My yaoi and essentially gay porn is here as well, so I really shouldn't call this the middle grade aisle. But I love the name of it, the middle grade aisle. This is why I need a new house. This is why I need a new library room so that I can really have the space. If I didn't have my bed there, I would 100% have things in a totally different way. But I'm working with the space I have. And yeah, it's just spilled over. It's currently like over here. But I mean, I do have all of my like Goosebumps and stuff. So this is like still like middle grade. But with Mr. Stein, he also has his Fear Street book. So this is YA. So it's like a mixture of middle grade and YA on this little bit here. So I do have, yeah, all the Fear Street there. But then I've also been collecting all the Animorphs books. I need them in these editions. And I'm only missing a few. Honestly, like there's only a few that I need. But when I've been looking for the ones that I need, they need to have like these kinds of covers, not these ones. Because they changed the format in the UK, the way that they released them, to have these covers. So yeah, they re-released the first half and then released the rest of them with just these covers. So I wanted them all to match, but these are getting harder and harder to find. The ones that I have were the cheapest and the easiest to find. There are some that are £100. There are like literally there's one that's £90.87 on eBay. And I ain't paying that. I ain't paying that for one Animorphs book, come on. But I do want to show you guys that I am collecting them all. And if anybody has any of the ones that I'm missing with these covers exactly, then please hit me up. I'm willing to buy them off you. Just not for £90. But yeah, I have them. And I've also been getting the Are You Afraid of the Dark book? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are a little bit harder to get hold of and a little bit harder to find. But there are only 23 of them and I'm slowly getting there. So hopefully by the time I read them, probably October next year, then I should have them all. But there again are some of them that are going for like £50 to £60 online. And again, that's just a bit too much. So if anybody has any Are You Afraid of the Dark books that I don't have, I do have some more coming. I think I have maybe like another 5 or 6 that are on their way. But yeah, please let me know. I also got these Halloween decoration things. They're supposed to go like this. Well, they're supposed to go on the ground. But I want to use them for The Wizard of Oz. And I am going to try and get the Oz box set at some point. And maybe have like these where my Oz books are. So it looks like they've crushed the Wicked Witch of the East. So that's them. So yeah, I will be doing a totally updated bookshelf tour in the new year. But let's say if I end up getting a new house and a whole new library room, because then I might as well just wait until that happens. And yeah, oh, my babies. Hey, baby. Hey, booty. You're so beautiful. And yes, you are. Oh, you're so sexy. Oh, where are you going, eh? Where are you going? I think you can leave without getting any cuddles. Hey.
Peeling back the layers of the part I've been playing for you. Used to be so easy. Now I get queasy when things start going wrong. And in this life we all know that the starting is the hardest part. Do you believe me? Or even see me as I fall apart?
Time for a haircut.
You don't walk, you levitate. I tried my best to imitate.
I keep having moments where I get so cold I have to put on 3 layers. But right now I am so hot, even though I haven't had the heating on all day. In fact, I've been outside a couple of times. And I just feel hot. I don't know what's going on with my body. Is this puberty? Also, I got my hair cut, which you probably would have seen in the ad. And you will have seen if you watched my Hallmark How to Win Your Gavin Christmas vlog. Because I got a cut over the weekend and I had to pause this vlog a few times in order to do my other vlogs and things. So I am really excited because I did manage to finish The Nature of Witches and I'm going to talk about it in just a second. First, let's just catch up. Let's have a little bit girl chat. So I have been inundated with anxiety. Like the kind of anxiety that makes me have chest pains. And I shouldn't laugh. Yeah, there's just been like a lot of tricky conversations at the minute with my housemate, and I did ask them directly to move out. And I can't tell you how much of an awful human being I feel. I do. I feel like the worst person in the world. But I have been suffering. Not gonna lie. And I feel like that's been spilling into BookTube. I know it doesn't look a whole lot like it because I still did things like the Haunted Castle and things for Halloween. I did a whole Halloween event thing. But I felt like I was dying inside a little bit, not gonna lie. Because I felt so confined to my library. Like, I didn't think it all the way through when I invited my friend to stay here when they needed a place to stay, how it would affect my working from home. And it affected my working from home in all aspects. I felt like I was living with my mum again. And I left my mum's house because of that feeling. I wanted my own independence. I wanted my own house. And I want to call this house my house again. So I did have that really difficult conversation recently. And it just took so much build up, and I was just talking myself out of it. I was keeping myself in. I will say Mel and Liv gave me so much great advice on how to approach the topic, and I just ripped the band-aid off and did it on Saturday. I feel awful. But this living arrangement doesn't work for me. Like, if I'm doing editing in here, or if I'm reading in here in the living room or anything like that, as soon as my housemate finishes work, which he only works like 4 times a week and he usually finishes around about 3, maybe before 3, and he's home quite early, then I have to physically move everything that I'm doing and go into my bedroom to finish off doing everything else. So half the time I just think, I'll just stay in my room all day then, and I'll just do this, that and the other. I'll film, I'll edit, and then I'll have to sleep in that room as well, which is not ideal because I am not getting good sleep. And I just need a bedroom. I need a bedroom again. I need to separate my work from my sleep, which has been so difficult this past couple of months. My housemate is going to be fine. Like, I did feel awful, and he is going to be fine, absolutely fine. He's going to be moving out next Saturday. So not the Saturday coming up, the Saturday after. So the first weekend of December, which happens to be Can't Believe-a-thon, actually. But yeah, I do have a lot of guilt that I'll have to work through myself. But I already feel a lot better about my living situation, and knowing that in the future I will be able to kind of be me again in my own house. I can't walk around naked like I used to, you know? So this is going to be a great thing for me. And yeah, I mean, I would still like to move out from here myself, but after seeing how much I owe in tax, it might be a little while. I will look for somewhere else to live myself next year as well. There's just been so many issues here with my landlord, with the actual house. Even though I do partly love it, like I do love it here as well. It's like the perfect size. I love the rooms, and yeah, I can make it cozy and stuff, but I feel like I need a whole new start. And get my haircut is like the first step, isn't it? When you get your haircut, everything's different. You get a whole new perspective on life. So I actually got a couple of things from Redbubble I want to show you guys. Not that you're going to care, because I believe these are One Piece related. And if you know me at all, you'll know that I've been really obsessed with One Piece recently. I did get a couple of like shirt things to wear. Oh, I can't wait. I think I'm going to try one on today. I'll try them both and make sure they fit. But I'm so excited. I can't really remember what they look like, actually. I remember one of them was Christmas related, One Piece themed. I think this one is just like the regular One Piece logo that I wanted to get. And I wanted to get like a larger one so that I could just lounge around in it. I find a lot of shirts feel too tight around like the shoulders. So this is just like a regular One Piece one, which, I already love it. I mean, it's got that Redbubble smell, so I'll have to wash it. But this one must be the Christmas one. Oh, I love my basketball tee. I really do. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. Look at that. It's Merry Christmas. And it's got Luffy and Chopper on it as well. Isn't that so cute? I just love me like a basketball tee. It's not ideal because it's 3/4. I would rather it be like a long sleeve shirt, in all honesty. But they only offered this in the 3/4. But I love it. I love it so, so much. So I feel like that's enough delaying. I did finish The Nature of Witches last night, but I couldn't be bothered to update you then. I apologise. I did end up watching a Christmas movie. But yeah, The Nature of Witches, it follows Clara, and she is an Everwitch, and she, well, essentially, her powers change every season. So like she can control all 4 seasons, whereas usually people can only control one. So you have like winter witches, like autumn witches, things like that. But Clara, she can do it all. She can do it all, and that usually does lead to some problems for her, and she does come across a lot of roadblocks later on. It was really interesting to see this magic system and how it interweaves into Clara's actual life, especially her romantic life as well. I have to tell you, I love the characters in this. I love the love interests as well. I loved that Clara was bisexual. I loved Sang. What a cinnamon roll. I would have done anything for him. I would have died for him, honestly. Like, he was just so, just lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I think a lot of the friendships and relationships in this book were just done so well. Like, if anything, this was like an expert masterclass on character, I would say. And especially how I think Rachel Griffin did a really good job at weaving the powers, the plot, into the characters too. So the characters never felt like, you know, like a stand-in for, you know, like kind of like a generic character who's just there to advance the main character's story. It felt like each of the kind of like side characters had their own little world, and they were probably the main character of their own story, you know what I mean? Like, they're not just there to guide the character, the main character, but to be there to actually exist and be real. So I really enjoyed this. I'll give it like 4 stars, like a 4.5. Like, it's so good. It is so good. I love the writing style. It is very atmospheric, and there were a lot of times where I felt, oh, is this going to get too heavy with the prose? But no, I feel like it had a really good balance on being able to describe things beautifully and also connect it with nature, which sometimes, like say Erin Morgenstern, for example, sometimes they come across as very pretentious, sometimes they come across as bad, like in my opinion. But this one, I know, it was just really, really good. I really liked it. I liked the messages of it. There were some things like that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, especially when it came to an eclipse, but I will not mention spoilers. I'll not do spoilers. But yeah, there was things that, especially towards the end of the novel, where I feel like I needed maybe a little bit more explaining of the magic system in order for me to fully grasp how certain things worked. I did love the magic system in itself. I love the elemental magic. I love the kind of like how it's tied to seasons and just like how natural it felt. There were some characters that I wish got their comeuppance that never did as well, so I'm a little bit annoyed about that. It felt like there should be another one. I think this is a standalone, but it feels like there should be another one. I think by the end of this, it is a little bit open-ended, so you probably could get a sequel out of this if Rachel Griffin decided to. Or, you know, it does wrap up in a way and it's fine the way it is. But I think there's a lot of potential here, and I wouldn't mind reading more from this world and more from Clara, for example. Especially since like a lot of interesting things happen by the end of it, and I'm like, ooh, I would love to see what happens next. I'd love to see how Clara advances from this plot. So yeah, it was very, very good. I really enjoyed it. I can see why Steph loves it now. Anything else? I wish I annotated, but I ended up listening to the audiobook instead because I have been having such a hard time concentrating with reading recently with everything going on. So I've had to have the audiobook on so that I can potter about, do cleaning, do housework, go outside and walk and things like that with an audiobook so that I can do those things. But I wish I had read it physically so that I could have annotated. But it's fine. It's fine. I still really loved it. So let's do the core pile then. For characters, what did I give Nia the Bone and Project Hail Mary? Okay, I didn't give Project Hail Mary or Nia the Bone very good ratings on that, actually. I gave them 7.5 and a 7. For characters, I did say like how much I love the characters. I'll give characters a 10. I think I've got no faults with them, really. There were some characters that pissed me off, but I felt like they were supposed to, you know. Atmosphere, a 9. I think. No, 10. Oh my god. Yeah, it's going to be a 10 for that as well. Shit. Wow. Okay. Writing, I will give a 9. I wouldn't say it was like perfect, but it definitely felt better than a lot of other authors who write in this kind of genre. So, yeah, good. Plot, there was a good storyline that happened early on with a tornado, for example. And, God, it's hard to talk without spoilers. Things happen that are very consequential to the main character. So, like, things always kind of had a reason. But I will say, like, the plot in itself, I felt by the third quarter might have dragged on a little bit. So I wouldn't have said it was perfect. And I wouldn't have said the entire thing was the most exciting thing I've ever read. I gave Project Hail Mary a 9 for plot, and I would totally agree with that. I think that was probably had the best plot of any of the books that I've read in this vlog so far. So I'll give plot an 8. I think, yeah, that's about right. Intrigue, I'll give an 8. Logic, there were some things by the end that I think defied a little bit of its own world logic, but I also feel like maybe I just missed something as I was listening to the audiobook, so I don't know if I should knock it down for that. But I will say I'll give it still a high 8. I will still give it a high 8. And then enjoyment, I'd say I enjoyed it like just as much as Project Hail Mary, which I gave a 9. I'll give it a 9.5. I would have said it was like the most perfect thing, but I'll give it 9.5. Okay, that gives it an 8.93, which puts it in second place. And Steph is currently the highest averaged book in this vlog. And I love the fact that all of these books so far have had over an 8, which is a really great rating for me. So this seems to be like the most successful episode so far in finding new books that I really love. Because yeah, they've all been above an 8. But The Nature of Witches, I do think it had an essence to it that really captured my imagination right now, and it was kind of what I needed right now as well, especially to do with like how Clara's feelings and her emotions would pretty much change with the seasons as well. And I just felt that. I felt that so hard. And her confusion, and how she's trying to navigate life. And it was necessary for me right now, I think. So I really enjoyed it. Steph, well done. Well bloody done. And it's funny as well because Steph is just starting the Final Book Support Group round today. So that's really exciting. And I've ended up giving Steph's book a really high rating today as well. So I'm just honouring my Steph. What can I say? I need to do things. I'm going to maybe listen to the audiobook of Finlay Donovan as well. Because again, I just can't sit and read right now. I just can't do it. And I do have dishes I need to do. I also want to just listen to Christmas music too. I want to blast Christmas music in my ears and just dance around, but I do want to get Finlay Donovan read ASAP because I'm also just being a little bit overwhelmed with everything else I need to do at the minute. So if I get this Finlay Donovan book read, honestly, it would take the biggest weight off my shoulders right now. And I can feel it now. I can feel it now how light I will feel. And also, I'm just really excited to read it. It looks really, really good. So yeah, Liv's Library, you're up next, girl. Okay, I was going to update you last night. I was going to have a really cozy, chill update in bed, and it was going to be so nice. And then Jessie from Bow Ties and Books uploaded their early access to their Gavin vlog, where I pretty much controlled their week. And it's been in the works for a while, and honestly, the effort and dedication in that video, oh my god, I've never seen anything like it. It is my favourite YouTube video of the year. In fact, it's probably my favourite YouTube video of all time. It's incredible. It's brilliant. Jess's humour is always on point. And I was laughing so much. Like, you should see the comments on that video that I left. I quoted a lot of my favourite quotes from that vlog. I said my favourite moments, although I had way more favourite moments than what I said in the comments. But it would have just been like an essay had I written down everything that I felt about that video. It was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I will leave Jessie's Patreon down in the description box as well because, the time and effort. Seriously, I think it was 43 hours it took Jessie to edit that entire video. Like, wow, I'm in awe. I'm in absolute awe. I just cannot love Jessie more, okay? And that's all I can say. I will also leave the video down in the description box as well. I think it's still, well, at the minute it's still on early access on Patreon, but when it goes live, I will link it in the description box so you can watch it. It's just so good. It's so good. Literally, they went to I think it was a Barnes & Noble, dressed as me, and asked somebody who worked there if they had Dick Fight Island, which is a manga series that I recommend they read in that video. And I can't believe they actually went there and... Oh my god, that was the wind, sorry. I don't know if you heard the whistling there. They actually asked another human being for Dick Fight Island. Like, I could never. Like, they were trying to be me, but they surpassed me in every way imaginable. And then when they do my accent, oh my god, literally just watch it. Just watch it. It's fantastic. But yeah, it meant that I'm doing my update this morning, because by the time I finished the video, I was kind of like, I can't be asked to film. So I didn't. And I did have a couple more BookTube videos to catch up on, so I watched those too. And I was all good because I did finish Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano about an hour or two before Jesse's early access on the video. And then Ali from Hardback Order as well went live on Twitch at midnight. So by the time I'd finished Jesse's video, watched a couple more BookTube videos, and then Ali went live, and I will link Ali's Twitch down below as well. It's with Malice. I watch her streams all the time. So great to chill to, and it just helps me escape the world a bit. Honestly, I just love watching Ali just in general. So that happened at midnight, and then I was just like, okay, I'm just definitely not filming an update right now. And you know what? I felt fine doing it. I have been working tooth and nail this month because I've had so many deadlines for certain things. Not just self-imposed deadlines, but deadlines set by other people. So I have been just scatterbrained the entire month, and it was actually nice yesterday to just sit there and be like, you know what? I can slow down right now. I can actually procrastinate. I can do something other than working and reading and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? This is great. I don't feel guilty, and I don't think I should feel guilty. I don't think anyone should feel guilty when you finally have a chance to sit down, breathe, and do something else. I mean, I have been playing God of War Ragnarok this month as well every now and then. But like, I haven't just sat down and played it for hours and hours. I've always been like, okay, I have an hour right now. I can just quickly play some. But other than that, yeah. Anyway, I've kind of went really off topic with that update. Yes, I did finish Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I loved it again. Oh, the books that my friends loved that I picked for this video. Oh, we could not have done a better job, honestly. I genuinely think this could potentially be the highest rated book I've read in this series, but I don't know yet until I go through Compile. It had the same kind of humour, like not plot, I wouldn't say it was similar, but I think the humour in the way it made me feel felt very much like, have you ever seen Serial Mom? The film. I think it came out in the late 80s, or it might be early 90s, and that film is so funny. It's so funny, and it reminded me of the kind of like dark humour of that, because it's about a mom who's a serial killer. She's like the suburban mom, but she kills people, you know, like that kind of gave me the same kind of vibes as this. And yeah, I guess the premise is sort of similar, but honestly, right, okay, so I'm a dum-dum. I didn't realise when I read the summary that it would be Finlay who is the one who is the kind of assassin, you know, the hitman, even though the bloody title as well, Finlay Donovan is Killing It. It's just so self-explanatory. It's not a spoiler because it's literally in the summary, it's literally in the title, it just went over my head. So as I was reading this, I didn't really, because a few things didn't make sense to me at first. When I first read the summary and I didn't understand, I was like, why would somebody pay Finlay for, like, say I thought a hitman approached Finlay and said, do you want me to take care of things, like this person that you're trying to get rid of? And then they would pay Finlay money so that they could go out and kill that person. But then I was like thinking about it, I was like, why would they do that? Why would they pay Finlay if they're the ones going out killing this person? Like, shouldn't it be the other way around? But then no, actually it is the other way around. So we have Finlay, she's meeting with her agent, and she has an ex-husband. There's like a fight for custody and stuff. So already I feel such a pull with Finlay. Like, she felt very real, and the issues she was going through was so, well, I could feel her desperation, in all honesty. And even though I think that a lot of this book is fun, I think there were times when it was trying to be a little bit serious so that the premise could come across as believable. And I do think it worked. I think it was the perfect blend of humour and seriousness. So yeah, she's talking to her agent, she's writing a book, and she's saying something like, I'm having trouble killing off this person. And somebody overhears this and thinks Finlay is the hit woman, which honestly I thought it was the other way around. I'm so stupid. And gives her an offer that Finlay can't really refuse. It's terrible, really, because when you think about people being hitmen, it's like, it's not good. Like, I do not endorse. But in this fictional world, it comes across as very humorous, almost sitcom-esque. Like, things don't go well for Finlay, because she does try and pursue this endeavour. And like, I'll not say too much because again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just funny to see how things transpire, essentially. It made me want of That So Raven episode where Raven becomes a hitman, and just to see like how she would deal with that. Like, that's how I feel like this book made me feel. Like, I wanted Raven, I wanted Raven Simone to try being a hitman for an episode, you know? I also loved Vero. Vero was probably one of my favourite side characters ever, I think. Like, seriously, the way that they and Finlay bounced off one another, their personality, their hijinks, it just made for such fantastic, humorous characters. Oh god, I feel like I'm repeating myself now. But yeah, it was so good. I listened to the audiobook as well. I had to because, again, I just can't seem to read physically right now. But this made me want to write again. Like, I have been trying, or forcing myself to write the past couple of months. And I need to for Wattpad. So this one kind of like gave me some like inspiration to try and write a little bit more this month. So I might try some tonight, maybe, who knows. But I can't wait to read the second one. The way this ends as well, I was like, oh my god. It was just a great ending. What can I say? I will say though, there is like the kind of the mic drop moment at the end, like, oh my god, like, what? And then there's another line under that, which I'll not read out, but I feel like it was unnecessary, kind of deflated the little plot twisty thingy-mabobby there. I was like, okay, which is so nitpicky, but I feel like I have to be in order to, like, try and find fault with this book. That last line wasn't needed. It's like, okay, you gave us the big moment, why are you trying to prolong that with unnecessary information, really? Because everything we needed to know was in that prior moment, you know? That was just like so nitpicky. I mean, wow, I'm such a bitch. But honestly, no, I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. Liv, I can see why you love it. I do. I can see why a lot of people love this. I know a lot of people like it. I think Gabby loves it. Mel loves it. There's just a few people who I've read for this video series that have read it and loved it. But now, the big moment, let's see where Liv's library ends up on the leaderboard. Let's see what the book actually gets. Will she be able to beat Steph Loves in this episode as the highest rated book read for episode 4? So she'll need to beat 8.93. And she would have to beat a 9.00 to beat Mel, who has been top of the leaderboard since the first episode. So let's see if Liv's library can dethrone Mel. Okay, characters, 10. I love them. I would probably argue that the characters I liked more than The Nature of Witches, which I also gave a 10 for characters. Atmosphere, I would say The Nature of Witches was more atmospheric, so I'm going to give Finlay Donovan a 9 for atmosphere. For writing, 9. I think 9 again. Plot, 9. I think the plot was not perfect, but like as close to perfect as it can be. I thought it was like a really engrossing, really fun plot that just carried me throughout. Intrigue, 9. Yep, absolutely. Loved the intrigue of it. Thought it was fantastic. Logic as well. I would say there wasn't really anything that really took me out of the story, really. So for all intents and purposes, I think the logic was pretty sound. So I give that a really strong 9 as well. And then for enjoyment, The Nature of Which has got 9.5 for enjoyment. And I would argue I liked Finlay Donovan more. So I'm going to give enjoyment a 10. Which gives Liv's library and Finlay Donovan is killing it a 9.29 on the leaderboard. We finally have a new winner. We finally have a new person in the top spot of the leaderboard. Well done, Liv. Well done, Liv. Everyone give Liv a round of applause. Give Liv a round of applause. Amazing. Oh, 9.29, wow. That's so high. I don't think I've actually rated a book that high so far this year either. I've been reading a lot of random things this year, but I would argue Finlay Donovan is probably one of the best books I've read this year, if not the best. And wow, even the average for this episode, like I've tried to do episode averages of, you know, the books I've rated for each episode and how they averaged overall to say which episode I found the best books in. And this episode just like miles ahead of the rest of them. So in episode 1, the average was 7.74. Episode 2, it was 7.45. In episode 3, it was 7.98. And then in this episode, episode 4, 8.75. That's really high. That's a really high average for 4 books. And considering I've been struggling to, well, not exactly read this year because I've read like over 300 books, but like to read books that I genuinely love, it's like, this is incredible. Like, I seriously enjoyed every single book in this vlog. So Project Hail Mary that I read for Nakia's Hideaway, honestly, probably one of the best sci-fis I've ever read. And I don't have a copy still, but I will most likely get one now. And yeah, the Bone Witch I read for Gabby,
probably one of my favourite horrors. Like, probably the best rated horror I've given a book for this year. Like, I don't think I've given a horror book an 8 out of 10 this year. Yeah, I think this is probably, like, my favourite horror of the year. And then The Nature of Witches, which I read for Steph. Amazing, absolutely amazing, definitely atmospheric, and just gave me all of the great emotions that I needed for this time of year. And then Finlay Donovan is killing it for Liv's Library, killed it, honestly. Genuinely, probably my favourite book of the year. So that's like awesome. I don't know why I was so late to reading this, because a lot of people that I know on BookTube have read it and loved it. So yeah, this is like another case of me just not going with the hype and regretting it later on. Oh, it was just so good. It was so good. This was a great episode, honestly. I don't know about you guys, but I genuinely found some like new favourites, and I thought it was a pretty successful round, honestly. So thank you to Nakia, Gabby, Steph, and Liv for being my willing participants for this episode. I thank you guys so much, and I love every single one of you guys as well. Love your channels so much. I will link all of them down below. So if anybody hasn't checked you guys out, oh my god, please do so. Please check them out. Please give them all of the love. I love them, so you should do. And before I wrap up this video, I do want to thank Wonder again for sponsoring this video. Honestly guys, check out the app. It is fantastic, and the premium is well worth it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all the comments down below. Have you read any of these books? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you love my besties as well? Like, leave all the love for my friends down in the comments as well. I would love to read them. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon or follow me on any social media, then all the links are down in the description box. I hope you take care of yourself, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye!